there is mutual love and respect. But with a lot of thinking, we know that most often than not, that is not actually what people experience in their relationship and in their marriage. More often than not, a whole lot of us will be in a marriage where somebody has to take the, permit me to use the word shit for the other person. Some of us are going to get into relationship and marriages that we have to leave the food for a long time before the other person wakes up. Some of us are, or even if two of you are believers and all of you have it going well, there will always be times and moments in your life where the other person will not want to act spiritual. The other person just goes bananas and goes bonkers, and you are left with a choice to either play by the principle of the word or to also act bonkers. You know, everyone who is married today and who will be here today will bear witness that it's not all the time that you feel you act and you do spiritual. There are times you just feel like acting like a complete man. You understand what I'm saying? And you know, some of you have been in a relationship before where the situations happen and somebody is looking forward to who is going to apologize first. Even though you know the right thing to do, but you just say, let me just give room to some flesh. I won't apologize. I won't do the right stuff. You know, and certain times, some people get pushed to the wall, and they eventually do stuff that they would never even think of ever doing. We have realized that the real situation that most of us are going to face is that you will have to be the one to act like the godly wife or the godly husband. You know, and we think we should address the issue. So this evening, we will be looking at the subject of loving the unsubmissive wife, and we'll also come back to the second session and look at submitting to a loving husband. Let me start with this background. One of us, my very good friend, you must have heard me say it, but I always don't say her name, but those of you who know. Somewhere around the 11th year in our marriage, which we all thought had been cozy and good, a couple in my mom, served with me when I was pregnant, and she worked in a very big company, oil and gas. I think on our 10th or 11th anniversary, while we were chatting on the BB, I posed the question. I said, if there was something called another life, of course there's another life, but if there's something called another life where you return back to the earth, everything is normal, and you have the privilege of having the information of what is going on presently in the world today, and you return back to another life, how many of you will still choose the spouses that you are married to today? That was the question. And so everybody said, but she didn't respond. Then privately she sent me a chat and she said, do you really want me to answer that question? I said, yes. He said, never in my life will I return. And she was a man I'm married to. And first of all, I thought it was a big joke. You know? I said, no, it's not a joke. He said, this marriage is a fluke. Should not have been. It's the greatest mistake of my life. Those words were too heavy. Because I know her and I know the husband. He said, the man is just living in my house. The marriage is over. The reason why he's in my house, he doesn't know where to go. He has not got another accommodation. By the time he gets another accommodation, he will walk out. And let me don't bore you with the entire story. But you see, at one point in our life, he asked a question in the group, saying that why an irresponsible man, and I mean in the sense that was later when we were talking, she said, look, there's nothing that the guy cannot even take care of himself, talking about take care of your children. So when she says an irresponsible guy, I can understand what she's talking about. So why will a man who has not done that think he deserves, and in the night he wants to touch me and have sex with me? It's not possible. It does not. Sex is only for responsible men. If you play your part, that's why if you play your part well, then you have access. It's in our mind, it's more of a reward for doing your job. So our argument in that discussion is that I am not obligated to serve a man who is not fulfilling his own obligation. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, they are separated today, living their separate lives. I don't know whether they are legitimately divorced, but I think it's been over 2 years now, separate from each other. Now, that's one out of many that I've heard here, there. So we are bringing the issue back to the house. When you are faced with a situation where some party is not changing, what do you do? How? So we are starting first of all with the unsubmissive wife. So why are we co-moderating? In the which question? Which of the questions?
We came back to another life. If I will marry you.
I answered it that day, and I've said it several times. I always said it publicly, and I always say it in the song. You know that I didn't answer, but I'm not really interested in the answer. What I'm interested in is what is my own choice, and then my choice is always. But because the answer is meaningless to me.
But it was
You guys want to hear?
I'm actually asking the audience.
Oh, okay.
But the truth about it really is that at times, in the bad times, you would not want to. You will be like, what was I thinking about before I got to this? But I think that is the reason why we are discussing about loving an unsubmissive wife and submitting to an unloving spouse. There are times when you feel that your wife is unsubmissive, forget about the Christian or the background as Christian. And there are some times when the husband feels like, gosh, he's unloving at this moment. So at that point in time, that's the crux of the discussion today. Unloving husbands and unloving husbands and unsubmissive wives. So we get to find ourselves in such situations. Sometimes I've been unsubmissive, sometimes we have been unloving, in quotes. So really, when those times come, do you want to pack your bags and run away? Or would the question be, will I come again after, if there's another life, will I still get married? I will answer the question now. I will answer it now. So that's what we are talking about today.
Okay, this is it.
I'm sure she knows my own answer. I've answered it before. I always answer it in the song. I'm sure she's used that song. I'll choose you again. Why not playing to glory. All right, this is the way we are going to start. Now, we want you to look at it and tell us, when you say a woman is unsubmissive, you will have been in a situation where your mother was absolutely being very nasty to your husband, to your father, or in the house, or you watch the movie or something. Let's just low down in your own understanding. When do you say this woman is unsubmissive? When, what traits do you see, specific, practical situations that makes you identify that this woman or this man is acting in a manner that is not submissive to you? Yeah, Miss Stephanie, welcome back. Oh, I thought you raised your hand.
Okay, no problem. I didn't have to.
Okay.
There's no need for the mic.
Yeah.
I wouldn't particularly point out experience because I've had quite a lot of experiences. People I call on submissive women, and it's vowed in my heart never, ever to put my hand into a marital relationship with somebody whom I consider submissive. Number one of the things I found out, because I personally think I'm well grounded on the word of God. So I feel if a woman is to consider to date me, she should see the priestly covering that is on my head. So most of the time, if I tell you a certain scriptural interpretation and you, without asking for explanation, verbally say it's useless and stupid because your pastor said something else, that's unsubmissive as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure definitely they're going to give me problems when I get married. It's a fact. Do you understand what I'm saying? How many guys have been in my shoes? You give a spiritual stuff, and the lady that is just by your side might not be your babe, might not be your wife, but just say no, disagree, and does not necessarily ask for any explanation. Just says it's wrong, you're totally wrong, and probably tomorrow you will find out that you're correct after making you feel bad.
Okay.
So that's one. And secondly, instructions. You give instructions to someone. Sometimes, I personally think a guy sometimes should even test the girl his weight by giving specific instructions. See if she will even obey. Naturally, if a woman has started seeing you as somebody valuable, when you give simple instructions, sometimes you might not even know their instructions. You obey it and come back and tell you I've obeyed it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So those are my own opinions, and that's my own opinion. Give instructions, do value. I tell
you, that's a valid question. Though. I said, the ladies want to know specifically what kind of instruction I do.
Okay, I know the story. I won't call the man today. The man has actually.
If I can give a woman instruction tonight, you must be in my house by 11 p.m.
That's not a wife now. That's not
That is not one. So you have to, it's important for us to be able to know the boundaries of these instructions.
instructions that relate to, like for me now, I can't give any girl any marital instruction. Like cook this food for me. I don't think I've ever done that thing. Like,
you are not married.
yeah, so I can't give that kind of instruction. You must cook chicken for me. If she disobey, in fact, she should disobey instead. If she becoming too serious, those are not the kind of instructions I'm talking about. But I see you with a friend, and I'm like, this girl is godless. Avoid her. Do you understand? It sounds funny. Now, you should, if you feel it's a very strong commandment from me, then it's high time we talk about what I am saying. And not just point blank say, okay, 2 ways a girl can be stubborn. She will not answer you. Most girls will do that one. They won't tell you anything. They tell you, okay, tomorrow morning you are seeing her. That same girl you said, that's actually the way with some girls. Some girls will tell you, I will hang out with her. What's your problem? Are you my husband? I don't know if you understand what I say. That's another one. You're not there, something like you're not my husband yet. Those are pointers. You're not my husband yet, or she will not tell you anything. She'll tell you, okay, tomorrow morning you are seeing her with that person. And now, what I think a normal woman who is most likely going to submit to you later, normal woman who most likely will submit to you later would do is, why are you saying, because she also has to have a mind of her own, why are you saying I shouldn't hang out with this girl? Let's talk about it. I need to just tell her. Do you understand?
All right. Because we still want to take a lot. Yeah, I do. I don't want us to squeeze in too much because we still want to take a lot more traits of characteristics of people who are unsubmissive. We are still talking about the unsubmissive woman and the unsubmissive wife. All men getting tired. All right, get me tired. So we don't throw the questions at him. All right. More characteristics of an unsubmissive woman, an unsubmissive wife or woman that you have seen or that you have encountered. Woman.
Well, I've met submissive women in the sense that, okay, I'll give you an example of a submissive woman and what a unsubmissive wife would do.
Okay.
For instance, there was a time when a friend of mine just came back. Woman, you're back in the country. Like, let me take you out. You know, she took me to one of these fast food joints, and she was paying for everything. When we got to the counter, she just tapped me and said, bring it home. And she put the money in my hand. I said, you're the man, pay for it. You know that kind of thing. So I was like, okay, yeah, I said, you know that you don't. So I'm like, with that now, you could already tell that she's a very submissive person. Give her instruction. She always, you know, she take your advice, she take your counsel, and she always lovingly down. But some women, one way of showing a woman telling you that I'm not submitted to you, you're probably under me. If that's why most times, most guys, people don't find it comfortable having female bosses, because there's a way you can be a boss at the same time be a woman. I don't know whether you get my drift. There are some women that you go into the office and she's like a mother to everybody. You just feel comfortable. You can walk up to her and ask her and say, you're the man now. She'll tell you that just stand your ground. But they're the ones that will come and they're shouting at you, useless man, you can't even do this right. But you already know that this woman is not. Yeah, exactly. So those are the cute.
And thank God for using that example. And abusive, a woman who's abusive, who will abuse you with her eyes and abuse you with her body and abuse you with her mouth. Is one of the traits of an unsubmissive wife. Let's have more because I'll take like 3 or 4 more traits. Let's be specific and practical so that we can move on to the next one time.
Okay, my name is Victor. Yes, okay. I think an unsubmissive woman is a woman that is defiant.
Defiant.
Yes.
Unbending.
Yes. I will do my best not to mention any name, but I know a lady actually who's married to a really difficult guy, and she still, for some reason, is able to keep her cool. And sometimes she's even with her husband, and he tells someone to do something that is very unreasonable, and she's like, but she just keeps quiet because she understands that this is her husband. Okay, she's not defiant. Now I also have seen people who is the one that she's told not to. As a matter of fact, you actually know an unsubmissive woman from her house. You see someone who has the mind to fight her brother, fight her neighbor. When you even hear of a lady fighting, to the point of you already know that this person is unsubmissive. It doesn't even have to do with it can even come in the form of nagging. This person doesn't keep his shoes outside. He forgets. And simply because of that, you just want it to be, I'm not used to it. It must be, you're not submissive. You should calm down. A lady should not be too, I don't know how to put it. I don't know how to put it.
Should not be too.
I don't know. For the right words, for lack of words, I just have to somehow gesticulate, you know. And I think.
Well said.
I think when you see ladies who are actually, it's okay for a woman to be opinionated. You can have a mind of your own. right? But I think even mention that with empathy, you should know that someone else that you're dealing with also has a mind of his own, or even another lady, you know. So when you see someone who even wants to put her own will on someone else, you already know that that person is not submissive.
All right. Well said. Because of time, I want us to go further on and specifically for an unsubmissive wife, because you see, we're talking about in the midst, we're talking about loving this kind of person.
Yeah, my friend.
You know, no. I'm talking about loving this kind of person when you have eventually married the person. Do you understand? So we now, for those of us who are yet to be married, fast forward 10 years from now. Yeah, fast forward in your mind now. Now you are married. Now you are married as a believer. You now have a wife. What are the things that your wife is likely to do that will come to you that this woman is not submitting in this marriage? What are those characteristics? As a wife now, no more a friend, no more a woman. Wife specifically. Yes. I'll stabilize you. I'm thinking of how now, I'm talking about the wife now. Fast forward into the future. You are now married to this woman. What are the kind of things? And I want us to drop it. There will be time for us to make a lot of discussion. The idea of this is to just drop instances that you will see that something that will be frustrating, something that will be disgusting to the husband, but the wife is doing it. E.g., he comes and says, you are not eating food today. For some reason, she's angry. She's angry with the husband, and he said, I'm not serving your food any longer. 2, she closes her legs.
Wow. Don't cooperate.
Don't cooperate. Yeah. So I'm talking of listening just like that so that we can flow. So we are still going to how to now begin to handle it. One time.
I'll still speak like from now to there.
You have the time.
From that perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, number one is a woman who always loves to speak and finds it hard to listen.
Yeah, you have a wife who loves talk, and doesn't listen.
She doesn't love to listen.
Yeah.
And you can tell that she doesn't listen when, at the end of the day, certain things that both of you have talked about, she doesn't end up doing it. Right? But yet, she always wants you to always know that she has said this. Right? So someone who talks always and hardly listens. And then I noticed that sometimes some women show, when they're in a relationship with a guy, they show respect for the guy, but they don't respect other guys outside.
Let me give you an example. You have you said, look, I love. You have a wife who does not like to be in the public there, and you are like, look, we have discussed the fact that I would appreciate and love the fact that whenever I go to church or go for outing or go for public programs, I like you. I will always want to have you around beside me. And you have talked about it, but she doesn't do it. She just says it's not my thing. You know, you are the one that has the gift, you are the one that has the call. I would prefer to be behind the scene, you know, and she doesn't do it. Because it's something that you have told her you will love, it will be something that you love to have done, but she doesn't do it. And she doesn't do it consistently.
True.
Okay.
Like a woman who wants to have her own empire, just as much as the man has his own empire.
Yes.
Yeah. A competing woman. Someone who the husband has what he's doing, but she also believes that she has to have her own, which is separate from the husband.
Yes.
All right.
You have your car, I must have my car.
She wants to build her own empire. It's not a together thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so such a woman, I would see as someone who is not submissive. And I said something much earlier on. The woman who, while she's in a relationship with you, she respects you and doesn't respect other men. For me, I use that as a key. When I look at a woman who seems to respect you so much, but she doesn't respect other men, she talks to other men anyhow.
A wife who talks down on his husband's friends, who are like, that's your coconut friend that normally comes here and we look at, I don't want to see her again. No, okay, but if she just doesn't like your friends, talk them down, just insults them, right in your presence and all that, and you are like, oh, kind of, well, why don't you respect? Why don't you respect my friends? This is another trait of someone who is very unsubmissive. Friend, I'll come back to you later. Except there's nobody. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh,
Okay, a lot of ladies make more money than their husbands. And I've seen situations where the guy says, no vacation this year. And the lady goes, well, I make the money, so we must go for vacation.
yeah. After all, it's my money you're going to spend. Yeah, E. Davids.
I think a woman who downplays her husband's ideas in the public. Yeah, two of us are in the same board meeting.
That's a killer.
And I bring an idea. Everybody has been talking, and you're cool with it. And as soon as I open my mouth to talk, you just suddenly remember that my own idea rings no bell. You know, that's the very high level of concept.
What if she was? What if she says it without not deliberate? You don't even mention it.
You should not talk.
There's one that I don't know. I've already seen on. I was growing up in my house. I noticed my dad and my mom, they try to show us who is more spiritual. I think my mom is not really submissive. So we are like the audience. So personally, I would like my wife to be like that.
Specific draw light.
Of course, I've told you now. Maybe my mom wants us to feel she's more spiritual than my dad. Yes. That she has better. So I looked at her and said, no, I think you should be cooperating with my dad. I know you have a better idea. Even while we were growing up, I think just like the way they have this, it's like two of them are competitive spiritually. If this one release one rep, you don't want to release a bigger rep. I said, no, you know that some of them, my mom wants to show us that she loves us more than my dad. I said, no need. You, both of you love us. They don't need. So I feel that one too. I would look like I say, I would like my wife to be like this. I want my wife to be competing with me in the house. In the house again. You understand?
All right. Well, so we find okay. So and now coming up on this matter of traits.
What I'm going to say is actually kind of a question, but I think it's on submissiveness and on the part of the woman. I've heard a story about the woman that went there for. The diaphragm is something you wear, as it's preventing from conceiving.
Yeah.
Without the husband's knowledge. And she told the husband that we wear the diaphragm, I don't have a child. So, is it unsubmissive?
Of course.
It's in marriage, just in the man and the woman. They should decide on the number of kids they want to have.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think there are gray area. I think there's a gray area to this.
It's my body. I can do
There's no gray area about it at all. What we know from scripture is that from the moment you say I do, your body is no more yours. You don't have a right to put something there without the owner. So there's no gray area about it. There's no gray area at all. Yeah.
And finally,
don't worry.
the kind of thing, embarrassing the husband in public, like
embarrassing the husband in public.
Like this within a group of people that say, sweetheart, could you please get me my glasses from the room? Me? Why don't you get it yourself? You know, and everybody will be like,
oh, if the husband is and say public embarrassment. All right, I want us to move forward. Okay, I want us to move forward. Now, let me just say is someone. Okay, no.
Yeah, let us
go back to my wife. No, not somebody. Give bullet points of traits of an unsubmissive wife based on what everybody is saying.
From what I've heard so far, they are all gross errors, really. I especially in David's home. when he's giving his ideas and you're instead of assisting to ensure that, I think the woman should actually be hailing the husband's ideas. Even if she does not
go with praise in public.
Yeah, praise in public. Even if she doesn't go with it, there's a way you can go in private after everything and say, dear honey, that thing, I'm not sure it can fly. Probably the husband could then, put more insight into the wife, and she could actually come to accept and understand, oh, okay, this is the way, all right, no problem. But then, in case the husband still insists that I am going ahead with this idea, the wife has the obligation to submit, no matter what. Then, Fred, what was yours again?
Giving spiritual instruction.
Exactly, and Christians. Oh, that was really funny. In fact, this Clash of the Titans. They want to know who is more spiritual, and it actually happens. It actually happens, really. It's some of the things that is not necessary. In a home the wife should be saying. In fact, the normal home is that the father should be the head of the home. You understand? And then the mother is assisting and helping the children to get to know the Lord. But there are homes where, where the woman is always, in fact, in Nigeria, that's almost the case. The woman is always the spiritual head. But then it doesn't give her the right to put down the father. Sometimes you could just see the woman making excuses for daddy. Daddy has to do, daddy has to do that, daddy has, and maybe in the corner of the room, she's telling the husband that you have to take up responsibilities and this and that. Anyway,
okay.
That's about all services.
Okay, we are as much as also trying to tell ourselves the ideal woman, what we expect the woman to do. But see, the issue is, let's identify in our heads the traits of a bad, wife, an unsubmissive wife. I don't know if you have watched the Fireproof movie. Fireproof. If you have not watched Fireproof, you go and watch it. Now, the issue is this: somewhere along your marital journey, something will go wrong. You will even enter the marriage code of the Christian saying, your husband for some reason decides to, your wife for some reason decides to backslide or just go bonkers for like a year or like 6 months. And then during that time of insanity, she's exhibiting all of these things that you are mentioning. She treats you like trash. She disrespects you. She talks to you anyhow. Every time you give instructions, she hisses at you. She insults your friends. She doesn't follow you to church. She doesn't give you sex. If she does it at all, she does it like lying in states. I heard that yesterday. She does it. I heard that like she's lying in states. So you are confronted with a woman a wife who does not send you. She nags you, she gives you headache. You'd rather go and live on the roof of your house than to deal with this kind of woman. Now, now that you are faced with this woman, either you married her that way or something went along wrong, and now she is very, very unsubmissive. What should the ideal husband under God do?
Stay on the roof.
Under God. Okay, first of all, before we say under God, what is the natural response of a natural man to a woman like this? I am not talking of girlfriend. I'm not talking of fiancé. I'm talking of you are now married to her. Maybe it's like the 3rd year, 4th year, or 5th year of your marriage. You are now married to her. You have 2 kids now, but now she just she's angry with you, she's gone bonkers with you, she's not responding appropriately, she's nasty in a particular area and is getting to your head. What are the responses you both find from a natural man? Beat her up. Most of the time, the first response is to beat her. Is to say,
depends on the man.
Natural man. A natural man, most natural man will likely get physical. Second thing is what football with the boys? Start hanging out with the boys. Drinking with the guys. Come back late.
Kick her out.
There are people who say, look, I know I'm going to have this house, but you can take the house. I will come back after your head is correct. After 6 months. Look for a chick. They'll play a lot of away. Away man. That's when a lot of away children come back. Bring in a second wife. I said, I think you have a lot of energy. I need to bring somebody to come and contain your energy so that two of you will be okay. What more? What more? Are you like me?
Kick her out.
Kick her out of the house. Divorce, separation, or divorce. These are natural. And the way we are saying it, you know, you may, I won't say it's a prophecy, but you see, when the matters start happening in your marriage, remember that if you do any of these things, like we are just speaking, you are acting as a natural man. All right. If you are, most of the time, the house becomes Fuji house of promotion. There's a lot of verbal fighting. There's a lot of abuse on each other, and eventually you will become